play something else.
Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. In this one I'm going to be doing the start of a series of reviews of Steve McQueen films. Now, he's done quite a lot of films and I own most of them, so I can pretty much review them all. But I'm going to start it with kind of an unusual one really to start it off with. In fact, a lot of fans of Steve McQueen might not have even seen this. It's very hard to get hold of. It's called The Defender. Now this was a TV series that ran, I believe it started in the 1940s. It originally started as a radio television series. The actual name of the series was called Studio One, and The Defender was the name of the episode. But it's just generally referred to as a film, The Defender, because it was a two-part thing, so when you put the two together it's like a TV movie basically. It was made in 1957. And like I said, the TV series Studio One started as a radio series, and after some time it merged onto the TV screen when that kind of picked up in I think that was in the late 40s, maybe early 50s, but this was made in 1957 anyway. Now the series had a lot of actors that were kind of up and coming at the time, like Ed Asner and Warren Beatty and James Coburn. James Coburn went to play a few parts in a few films with Steve McQueen, but he wasn't in the episode The Defender. In The Defender it was Steve McQueen obviously, and also Ralph Bellamy, who I only really recognise from the Eddie Murphy films Trading Places and Coming to America. He was quite an old guy when he did this. I think he was like in his late 50s or something like that. So I think he died in the early 90s, but he was quite a good actor. And in this he plays a lawyer, and he has a son who is fairly young and works for him, and that son is played by William Shatner.
Actor, director, novelist, bon vivant William Shatner?
Who I'm a big fan of because I like the original Star Trek series, so to see William Shatner and Steve McQueen together.
Hello, Mr. William Shatner.
I mean, I don't care if this thing is old and it's in black and white. It's got William Shatner and Steve McQueen in it. That is awesome. I don't care. I'm watching it.
Next to my bed.
Did you take any when you got home?
Yeah, how many more times are you going to ask me?
I'm asking you because you might have forgotten something important.
I didn't forget nothing.
No need to raise your voice. Something the matter?
No, everything's okay. Now look,
I want to
watch
wash my face.
Now, the episode itself, the general plot of it is, like I say, you've got the Ralph Bellamy character and his son who works for his law firm that work for the defendant, which is played by Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen, I think, is supposed to be about 19 in this, but he was actually 27 in real life. He did often play characters that were a lot younger than he actually was in real life, because he could kind of pull it off. He looked younger than he actually was. But he's on trial for murder, and you don't actually know whether he's guilty or not. You kind of see it from his point of view. But yeah, the William Shatner character and the Ralph Bellamy character are defending him, and they have this debate that kind of goes on throughout the story, that the father lawyer, that's played by Ralph Bellamy, is pretty adamant that Steve McQueen's character is guilty, but he's going to give him a fair trial and nothing more. Whereas the William Shatner character, who's fairly inexperienced as a lawyer, believes that he's actually innocent and knows that either way he's probably going to be found guilty because of all the evidence that's against him, but you do know that the William Shatner character has a trick up his sleeve, which they don't reveal till the end of the film, that he can play in court that will likely get him off with a murder charge and he'll go free. So it's kind of a debate that goes on between, like a moral debate as to, you know, at what point does their obligation to give this guy a fair trial and nothing more, where does that end? Because if they can do something, anything, even if it's like a dirty trick, a legal dirty trick in court to get this guy free, if they can do that, they're saving his life, basically. And so there's like a whole debate about that throughout this. And the trick, as it turns out, at the end of the episode, kind of giving a spoiler away here, so if you haven't watched it, maybe turn this review off now, but the trick that the William Shatner character is playing in court is that he has a look-alike of the Steve McQueen character, who is actually just a random lawyer that he knows, who looks a lot like the Steve McQueen character. So they bring him into court at the end, and they get all these witnesses that are fairly questionable, that they bring them onto the witness stand and they say, is that the man you saw? Is that the man? Look at that man. Is that the man you saw murder this person? And I think there's 2 or 3 different people, I think it's 2 different people, and they're like, yes, that is the man, I'm sure of it, even though, you know, I'm kind of blind and I need glasses, I'm positive that is the man. And as it turns out, the man they're pointing at isn't even the defendant. It's a trick that they've basically pulled, but that shows that their eyewitness testimony is unreliable, the whole thing gets thrown out, and he goes free.
Joseph Gordon, step forward. Joseph Gordon was sitting in the last row of the courtroom, while the last 2 witnesses identified an entirely different person as Joseph Gordon.
Your Honor, I protest. Never in my entire career have I seen anything like this. There, Mr. Toohey, let me hear what this is all about. All right, Mr. Preston.
With Your Honor's indulgence, this man, would you rise, please, and stand next to the defendant? This man is Anthony Carminata, a law student at the University Law School. 2 weeks ago, my son noticed him by chance in the university library, was struck by his resemblance to the defendant, and asked him if he would consent to appear in court in behalf of the defendant. He agreed. He and Joseph Gordon changed places during the confusion following Mrs. Gordon's testimony.
Your Honor, this is... Please, Mr. Toohey. Continue.
And again, like I say, you don't know if he was guilty or not. So it's a good story anyway. I found it very entertaining to watch, and it's like I say, it's just awesome just to see William Shatner and Steve McQueen on screen together. It is a very early stage in their careers. I mean, to put it into context, Steve McQueen didn't really get started in Hollywood until sort of 1961 with The Magnificent Seven and Never So Few. I think it was a year before he did The Blob as well, and pretty much The Blob was his first kind of big film, and that was a cult hit, really. It wasn't anything along the lines of The Great Escape, which came a few years later, 1963. So it is very early on for him, and this is 10 years before William Shatner did Star Trek as well. So it really is a gem to have this. Now, finally, availability of this. You can get it off online shops in the UK, but it's region 1 as far as I can see. I don't know if there is a legitimate version of this that you can buy on region 2, because it's not really something that I don't know who owns the rights to this. I think it was CBS that did the series originally in America, so I would assume that that company still owns the rights, but in terms of distribution, I'm not really sure. But the version that I've got is a copy that I got given to me, and it's a DVD, and it's just an edit of something that's been put together already. So I mean, I don't know where this originally came from. I think it was just kind of like a raw copy of it. I don't think it was one that was made commercially available, so I can't really say where you can get this other than region 1 copy. So, and it's not a very good quality, isn't the one that I've got. I think it was, I know it's available on YouTube, you can see this on there. There doesn't seem to be any problem, as far as I can see, with copyright, because it's not been taken down, so look it up on YouTube. But if you want to own this, I think you really are going to be hard pressed. I just got lucky that I know somebody who's got rare copies of DVDs. So, I mean, I know that the cover for this isn't, it has been kind of redone anyway on somebody's computer, basically, because the disc that came with it wasn't one that had a cover for it, so somebody just knocked up a cover, just kind of thing. That was just like I say, it was given to me about 5 years ago, something like that. No, about 3 years ago. But if you do want to own this on Region 2, like I say, you're going to be hard pressed. So I think you might even have to get. I know it was available on videotape, so you might even have to look for that on maybe like eBay or something. But like I say, you can get it off YouTube, and there are various ways nowadays of obtaining sort of rare things like this, which I don't really want to promote on here because I'll probably get the video taken down. It's a copyright infringement or something ridiculous like that. If I use words like torrent or anything like that, I'm pretty sure that would be a no-go, so I wouldn't recommend that anyway. But that's my review anyway, and I hope, like I say, I hope you can get hold of this. If anyone does know where to get copies of this in the UK on Region 2 DVD, or maybe Blu-ray, I kind of find that hard to believe, but you never know. Just post comments. The website is brandexreviews.com, or just go to the YouTube page, which is also accessible through the aforementioned website. Now, I'm going to be doing more reviews of Steve McQueen films coming up. You can see my DVD collection. There's quite a few behind me. Like The Blob, The Magnificent Seven, Hell is for Heroes. Those are some of his early ones. The War Lover, The Sand Pebbles. There's quite a few, to be honest. I'm not going to read them all out, but I've got most of his films. There's a few others that I need to buy, but I'll just get through them in due course anyway. There's also going to be plenty of other reviews of other films and books, graphic novels, that kind of thing. So if you just check the website, brandexreviews.com, you'll see everything that's up there now, and that might give you a taster of what else is to come in the future. Thank you very much for watching.